Lesson 7, the relationship between visual fraction models and equations. Okay, guys, before we get started with this lesson, you guys need to know a couple of important key terms, concepts, and the first one is inverse or reciprocal. And the inverse or reciprocal is a fraction that is made by interchanging the numerator and denominator. So if you have 2/3, 2/3 becomes 3/2. So you are kind of flipping them. So it's called either the inverse or the reciprocal. The next word that you guys need to know is multiplicative inverse. The multiplicative inverse is two numbers or two fractions that have a value or product of 1. So 2/3 times 3/2 will give you 1. So I want you guys to look at a couple of fractions and tell me what is the reciprocal or the inverse. So 1/4, if I ask you guys to reciprocate it or tell me what the inverse of this fraction was, the numerator now is 1, the denominator is 4. So we want to flip those and create the inverse or the reciprocal, which is going to equal 4/1. So 4/1 is the reciprocal of 1/4. Also, 1/4 times 4/1 will also equal 1, because 4 times 4 equals 4, and 4 times 1 equals 4, which reduces down to 1. Therefore, these two fractions are called multiplicative inverses. Let's look at this problem. 3/4 divided by 2/5. Another way you can say this problem is 2/5 of what number is 3/4? Okay? So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a tape diagram to showcase 2/5. So here are my fifths. If you notice, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, and that's going to represent my denominator of 5. Okay, I'm going to shade in 2 of the sections. And I know these 2 sections right here represent 3/4 because it says, excuse me, 2/5 of what number is 3/4. So I know that this section here, the 2/5 represents the 3/4. Okay, we're dividing by 2/5. So 5 is your denominator, and it tells you what kind of fractions we have. Okay, so we have fifths, which you see here. Okay, we shaded 2 of them in because that's the parts we have to shade in of the fifths. So I know 2 units here equals 3/4. So if 2 units equals 3/4, how much will 1 unit equal? Well, 1 unit is half of the 3/4, correct? So you take 1/2 times 3/4, and that gives you 1 times 3, which equals 3, and 2 times 4, which equals 8. So that tells us that each unit is 3/8. Each unit is going to represent 3/8. Observe that for a minute. Okay, so now I know that each section is 3/8. So 2 sections represent 16/8. Good job. What about 5 sections? So if 2 sections represent 16/8, I'm sorry, if 2 sections represent 6/8, excuse me, where did I get 16 from? 5 sections is going to equal 15/8. 5 units represent 15/8. So that means 3/4 divided by 2/5 equals 15/8. Is going to build up on the keep, change, flip that you guys been talking about. So I know that 3/4 divided by 2/5 equals 15/8, right? I want you to look at your division problem here and tell me, what could I do in order to get 15/8? Okay, I keep the 3/4. I change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and then I take the inverse or the reciprocal of the second fraction, and then I multiply 15/8. 15/8. There we go. So there's your keep, change, flip. So remember, guys, always listen, think, come up with your game plan, and then answer.